They do a really good job here of building a creepy factor. The darkness of the alleyway is pretty scary for anyone, but then seeing what was down there is on another level. Going first person was a genius choice for it too. To be frank, a pretty incredible mixture of CGI with hand-done animation, but this studio is getting stupidly great at doing that now. They've got a true Jujutsu Kaisen style that they've mastered. See, that's what I mean. Unless you pause and look at it hard, you can't tell what's CGI and what's not. See? Stupidly good. I'll be honest, YouTube has been hammering me lately. Stopping recommending my channel, it's hurt bad. I'd love your subscription, it'd mean the world to me. Your like and comment mean everything too. It all helps. And of course, tips and Patreon support are the best. Please consider it. Link to my Patreon is down below and everything else is on this page. Also, to be frank, is that not super creative? Creating an 80s, 90s style video camera perspective to show the age. I don't think I've literally ever seen that in an anime before. Back-to-back wins here. You can't go showing so many bird's eye shots of the city and not expect a win. They just did it. Didn't even make it a big deal. Secondly though, I love the build-up. That's more than we got a lot of the time during season 1. I mean, I like a bit of serious background. Makes it feel like a proper mission this way. A studio doing cars not in CGI? What witchcraft is this? This is so clever to me. If you want to make your characters feel lifelike, do this. She looks out of the window, then we switch to first person as we drive up to, get a look at the sign, and then past said sign. That's so cool! Could have zoomed in on their faces or something, but instead they animate them moving through the scene instead. That's some high levels of dedication to your craft. I'm not sure if that's from the manga, but I'm giving it a win anyway. I enjoy when they do stuff like that. That's actually quite hard to do, but they pull it off really nicely, and it feels more akin to the character actually being inside an environment this way. Genuinely impressed by this change, and the execution is amazing, not only in how it's literally put together, but by capturing the creepy vibe so well at the same time. Yeah, go on then. That was hilarious, bruh. That was brilliant. It's literally one of those times where I was physically craning my neck downwards slightly, like to check under the bed first, make sure it's safe. That animation is simply beautiful. I know it's the same studio that did Chainsaw Man, but I'd love to highlight how similar they look in that smooth style of animation. One of my favourite elements to the first season was how wide-ranging they made these investigations and the heroes' abilities. I always thought it'd be such a waste to just have them fighting curses, so the fact that the mangaka made it very open-ended is praiseworthy. Gives a lot of wiggle room for battles in the story. See what I meant earlier on? This is hard to pull off, but it's flawlessly done. You can't just crop them smaller as you expand the scene outwards. Clever way of showing how they're stuck in a loop by focusing on this point, and at the same time they ramp up the music in the background to build tension. Exactly what I was talking about during win number 16. It's not simple. There's a mechanic behind it, and a really unique one at that. In this case, the crafting of a looping hallway. You rarely ever see a continuous motion shot, no cutaways to ease the animation team, so when I do see them, I just straight up adore them. I really did miss this dude. He's so cool. Such a badass character in the anime, one of my favourites. Thrilling, absolutely thrilling OP, and the first in a little while that easily scores 2 max wins. The reason being that the music was a great choice, but backed up by incredible looking animation from start to finish, introducing all of the characters and setting the stage for an amazing looking season 2. Been really looking forward to winning this. I'm such a fan of the design on curses in this one. Take my win!
歌姫の通ったたが崩れるぞ。うるせえ。
つこ。
ああ。
それはそうと君たち。帳は？
あ。
Interestingly mixing together in one fairly short scene 3 different styles of animation.
この中に帳は自分で下ろすからと補助監督を置き去りにしたやつがいるな。
You've heard me say it before, you're about to hear me say it again. The mere fact that my boy Kira Kazuma is in this anime automatically scores it a win. That's the main character from the Like a Dragon / Yakuza games.
別にパンピーに見られたってよくね。
何より人々の心の平穏だ。そのためにも目に見えない。
Is it just me, or is it not ridiculously cute that she was wearing his glasses and then put them back onto his head here? I'd be a cruel anime wins, Dono, if I ignored that. This scene gets a win for building a real onion of a villain. He's not just evil. That's it. Goodbye, come again. He's in the opposite position here to Gojo. He cares for the weak. Something changes that though.
あの方の力添えがないとセキュリティや任務の消化すらままならない。
I love stuff like this, the whole Tengen angle, a curse user capable of eternal life who consistently helps protect the school and elsewhere using his power. It's so creative, I swear. Between all of the external shots and then these examples of internal ones, it's highly impressive how engaging the anime ends up becoming by constantly changing angles. High, low, character face 1, character face 2, and so on. Also take one here for highly detailed internal shots too, clean and crisp all the time, done to a super high standard. I can't believe how well timed win number 30 was. Now we hear about these groups, one who wants to unleash Tengen and the other who wants to free and worship him. It's so creative, I'm shocked!
天元様と聖書体の同化は2日後の満月。
Tell me that's not a JoJo reference! Between the movie and season 2, it's brave, I think, to show so many scenes of a comprehensive backstory. You always risk it being not quite as exciting as what you already created with season 1 and those characters. But I must say, it's been done to a wonderful standard, building the characters exceptionally well. Intensive out of nowhere action that just looks so damn good though!
もう全員じゃねえ。向こうに入ったんでな。 今伏黒だ。いいぜ。
Man, I don't even need to Google this and Mallet. It's so clearly Dio from JoJo, and for me most recently, love seeing him all the time in the Trails games. In case you're wondering, I'm now on Cold Steel 2. Didn't think it'd happen, but another Max 2 wins. This is the first anime to score that since, I think, season 3 of Love is War, where the OP and ED get it. But the music was straight up lovely, right into my veins, and then they didn't just kind of credits it, it did tons of animation. I gotta show appreciation. It's a small win, but this studio did this with Coffee, I think, and Chainsaw Man. Just so much insane effort gone into making a drink. This is some next level anime drinkage.
そうだ、田舎に帰って米を作ろう。聞こえてるだろう。
It's another smaller win, but I enjoyed seeing the realism behind someone wanting to live, so naturally he offers to not only leave the group, but to leave the city entirely and even change his line of work.
無職だろう。仲介役としてクライアントに仕事ぶりは報告しなきゃならん。
Beldia, the headless horseman dude from season 1 of Konosuba, always loved his scenes. While I'm mentioning him, any of you interested in, after this video, watching my Megamin Konosuba spin-off video would mean the entire world to me. For some reason, the anime didn't perform great, and the views on the video were terrible. Anyway, it'd genuinely mean so much to me. For ease, I'll put a link near the top of the description if you want to help me out there.
ああ、そうだ。めぐみは元気か。
Putting an obscene amount of frames into this dude's thought process.
起きた。
Bear with me, yeah? In anime, 99% of the time when someone wakes up they say, "Are you awake?" or similar. This here, and one in Konosuba, funny enough, are 2 in a row instances where they say, "You're awake!" Can't believe that!
ゲスね、わらわを殺したくば、まずは貴様から死んでみせよ。天元様はわらわで、わらわは天元様なのだ。
This lady!
どうか後も生き続け。
待ち受け変えた？
井上和歌
These jokes are right up my street.
もう会えなくなるんだ。
Here's something people often overlook in anime, where the studio pours their heart and soul into the animation. This scene from the school has pretty much every single character moving within it. Not only do they do, naturally, the main girl, but everyone else is moving. You watch and see how many studios bother to do that.
ですからせめてご友人とは少しでも。
それじゃあなたが家族だ。
These moments truly serve to build him as a character, not just his fun side with his friends, but his thoughtful one, like here, giving consideration to the new Tengen and how she'll be losing her friends, never to see them again. It just makes it all the more intriguing to find out what actually happened to him. Bruh, no one would normally go through the effort to animate the reflections, but they did it. It's to a lesser extent here than the school, but again, they decide to animate the whole room pretty much.
ちょっと待て。
For me personally, it's great when villains are more subtle, like right here. It's just his whole persona and freaks people out and makes them scared, rather than the words or yelling or whatever. Just notice something else that needs to be wind too. The tech levels are spot on for a season taking place in the past. From the phones to the cars to the TVs. That's nice attention to detail. Let me know in the comments, is this what it's like in the manga? If it is, I'm just a big fan of this style.
近接嫌いが近接を警戒していない。やりやすいことこの上ないな。
Also, such a big fan of this, not spouting it all out loud, but keeping his theory and strategy to himself. Oh my goodness, that was so damn cool and stylish looking!
助け？お前助けか？
Oh, it's a doggy dad! That absolutely broke me! Talking about what I'm a fan of, giving even the smallest of a backstory to your villains is awesome.
そうか。
That attack though, I gotta take a step back and watch that again, my word!
合わない
何リコ彼氏？
Absolutely this.
急なもんですいませんね。
あとこれ私のテレバン。
I don't think I've laughed harder since the epic god-level horror meter slap.
なんか浮いとる。うわっ
Okay, that's just legit cool. Not much else to say about that. Are you kidding me? Picked her up and jumped like that. Badass, bruh. I mentioned badass and then this happened. You know what it reminded me of? The maid fight versus Jeremiah in Kogios R2. That also came out of absolutely nowhere and slapped.
全部本体のな。
I seriously love Jujutsu Kaisen. It really smacks a different set of chords to me. It feels very different in how it approaches things. Big fan, big fan. It just looks so cool. Like, obviously I can shout out the animation and the bits and pieces of real world damage and the seamless mixture of CGI, but it's the style that appeals to me here.
赤
Let me know in them comments, but is it just me or is the comedy not much more prevalent in this one than in the first season and the movie too?
どうしよう。黒いが。
He doesn't just look down at her, he lifts her up to get a better view. That's so sick.
相手は次人質交換的な出方で来るだろう。アマナイと黒井さんのトレードとか。
Credit here for showing us Gojo's mind and how even at a young age, he was so quickly able to piece together any difficult situation and figure out a plan of attack.
私が天元様と同化するまでに黒井が帰ってこなかったら別れも言ってないのに。
Great voice acting, you could almost hear the tears building. It's very sweet and the scene is designed in such a way to really take advantage of such great voice acting. I I can't believe they skipped the entire rescue mission and went for this, but I liked it. I'm crazy, but I liked how it went from one extreme to the other all of a sudden.
てたつもりだったんですけど
I love you! You actually showed it in the end!
僕は燃えているよ。ゲトウさんにいいとこ見せたいからね。
Asta from Black Clover!
あいつなりにリコちゃんのことを考えてのことでしょう。
すぐる、戻るのは明日の朝にしよう。
Seeing Gojo grow in such a short time, originally he wanted to drop the girl off right away from the start. She kinda loses her life, in a way, but now it's like he wants her to enjoy her time. Such a beautiful piece of music to perfectly suit their time there together. Really lovely that was. Also though, the scenery itself is just breathtaking too. Also choosing to animate the entire montage instead of just imaging it. Those eyes. Animating a whole bunch of moving characters within the scene.
バカな。ここは光線結界の内側だぞ。
That was two max wins is what that was. That was a man the trenches and prepare for an incoming over the top assault level plot twist. That was. Didn't see that coming with a pair of high powered binocs. Okay, I'm flat out dropping another max 2 wins. That music, intense sounding, and then hearing how he worked his plan by wearing him down more and more. How he noticed him as a kid and no one else had been able to. I freaking loved that! They worked so well together as youngsters in just about every facet you can think of. Here he blasts him backwards, knowing his buddy will use his curse to attack in the air.
ニットのセーターに安全ピン通したみたいなもんだよ。マジで問題ない。
You could shut your face hole if you don't think Gojo is one of the coolest anime characters ever.
あっそう。
早い。
I'm such a geek when it comes to animation styles like this. Like, I seriously dig Demon Slayer and Attack on Titan, but this might just be my personal favourite flavour and style. Okay, so originally I was going to bundle this with the last win, but that's way too good. From his slow head movement and seeing those eyes to utterly blasting him to next weekend with that attack. 2 max wins!
それにしても早すぎんだろ。術式順天。
I literally am such a geek though, and I don't even care. My immediate reaction to this godlike animation was a rather giddy ho ho ho! Not like Father Christmas, like wow! Ho ho ho! When the studio does environmental damage correctly, remembering what was destroyed and perfectly replicating it. If they're CGI, I certainly for one couldn't tell. Even though we obviously know Gojo lives, hence season 1, this left me with a giant knot in my stomach, like an actual uncomfortable feeling.
リコ様どうかどうか
As worried as I am about Gojo, I can't overlook that and the sadness behind it mixed with sweetness.
それか引き返して黒井さんと一緒に家に帰ろう。君と会う前に悟との話し合いは済んでる。天元様と戦うことになるかもしれないよ。
ビビってんな。
At this point, I'm probably the most interested yet in learning what made Suguru change as a person. To go to this extreme to protect someone in their life, their being and sense of self, risking everything you know for it, it's really next level, and yet he turns into something truly the opposite, really.
もっとみんなと一緒にいたい。もっとみんなといろんなところに行って。
Such a pure and blessed moment. This right here is the reason why Japanese dubs are so often my favourite. They truly seem to just throw everything they have into each performance. True art.
Hi, お疲れ。解散。
Very rare moment incoming, it's 2 back-to-back max wins. To start off, this was an even more shocking moment than Gojo getting stabbed earlier on. Never saw it coming, and it broke my heart if I'm honest.
なんでお前がここにいる？
五条悟は俺が殺した。
そうか。死ね。
But then seeing Suguru so physically angry looking, embodying exactly how I was feeling in the moment, as he immediately drew out his curses ready to attack, it easily unlocked the second Max Win award. Kicking off episode 4 with some insane next level looking damage effects. It's like Deku vs Todoroki up in here. Every curse user is different and that's great, but here I'm in awe of his ability to quickly conjure up curses for every use you can think of, such as his super quick defense here. That landing though!
話の続きだ。皆まで言うな。
天与呪縛だろ。術師と同様に情報の開示が能力の底上げになることは知っている。
How often do you see opponents standing there chatting away, revealing all of their moves, plans of attack and so on? This just hits different, attacking whilst he talks, moving around looking for an opening. And considering it's written into the story that describing your attacks makes them more powerful, not just leaning on that and doing the norm is highly commendable. I'm actually interested to the highest degree. Does anyone know how they do these curses? It really doesn't look like CGI in any way, but almost seems too good to be animated. Look at the unique as hell battles they have crafted in this brilliant story. Look at it! The amount of frames poured into this is nuts! I think it's cool for the mangaka to integrate the real history of Japan with the story of their foundation and when Tengen came along and so on and so forth. No walking on the spot!
よう、久しぶり。
マジか。ハイになってる。
だが死に際で掴んだ重力の確信。
That is some outrageous looking visuals as a whole, but the eyes totally stand out as well. They're so incredibly visual. This is the kind of battle I was waiting for. Gonna catch my breath.
反転術式によって生まれた生のエネルギーを全て問題なし。
The dude spending a solid 45 seconds just stretching was absolutely awesome. Pure art in motion, that is. There's something really serene about the contrast between the furious attack and his calmness on display.
だがこれは五条家の中でもごく一部の人間しか知らない。
The only way I can describe the feel of this battle is like Netero fighting Meruem at the start. It's like watching a god on display against a powerless human. It's shocking. I don't even know how this artistic presentation was achieved, but it's beautiful. Wow.
自分も他人も尊ぶことない。そういう生き方を選んだんだろうが。
Two wins. First of all, the attack. It's glorious in terms of its devastation upon his body. Secondly, for again ending him with a semblance of humanity and not simply having him be evil to be evil.
2、3年もしたら俺のガキが全員家に売られる。好きにしろ。
The perfect follow-up to win number 117. This is how he chooses to go out, to perhaps try to appeal to the good nature of Gojo that we saw on display as he protected the girl, to try and help his son. Didn't expect that. Isn't that just some amazing looking reflection work?
すぐる、 こいつら殺すか？今の俺なら多分何も感じない。意味ね。それ本当に必要か？
Such a clever contrast there between him still in the light, refusing to take their lives there, and then Gojo on the right in darkness, considering his current emotions.
術師にはな。
And perhaps here was the first time he himself felt that maybe his way of thinking was flawed, growing like a festering wound around him, plaguing him with doubt.
今までマニュアルでやってたのをオートマにした。呪力の強弱だけじゃなく、これなら最小限のリソースで無加減呪術をほぼ出しっぱにできる。
Instead of making him all-powerful from the get-go, it's genuinely very nice to see the mangaka wrote into the story how he grew his abilities to where they are now steadily over time.
任務も全て一人でこなす。翔子はもともと危険な任務で外に出ることはない。必然的に私も一人になることが増えた。みんなは知らない呪霊の味。誰のために？
Already starting to see how his old way of thinking was weighing on him. Being taken away from Gojo more often certainly didn't help too, plus feeling weaker than him all of the time to boot. Amazing job of showing how numb he was becoming towards the world and its people, how he was haunted by that moment, and how drained he was becoming in the process.
灰原は呪術師やっていけそうか？辛くないか？
For me, it's highly praiseworthy to not skip to him being evil. There's a really impressive build-up going on, already being fleshed out in such a short period of time too.
君がゲトウ君？どんな女がタイプかな？
You! Absolutely you!
1、全人類から呪力をなくす。全人類に呪力のコントロールを可能にさせる。
It's interesting how it's this conversation with a near stranger that kind of gave him his new world understanding as to how to tackle their problems, his solution as it were.
大雑把に言ってしまうと、全人類が術師になれば呪いは生まれない。
Have one here for pouring so much lore into your story and having it somehow all make sense even in this fantasy world.
非術師は嫌いかい？ゲトウ君。
Two small wins, having this weather sound identical to the madmen's applause he keeps hearing is a nice touch. And the weather effects in general the studio produced being excellent.
非術師を見下す自分、それを否定する自分。
I feel like credit is deserved for also not making him jump into this life in one go. He openly admits to struggling greatly with these new thoughts, but is being beaten by this terrible daily life.
あれはと違みでした。一級案件だ。
Honestly, by this stage, it's no wonder he went the path he did. His friend, kind and simple, giving him a lovely interaction that likely raised his spirits when he needed it, only for him to then perish too. And for what? To protect the humans committing stupidity and evil against one another in their confusion and misunderstandings?
とざえからおそらく両親も手にか
なわけねえだろ!
That was some gut-wrenching voice acting from such a concerned and angry friend there. Like, no studio does hand-drawn cars anymore. I'm shocked!
生き方は決めた。あとは自分にできることを精一杯やるさ。
Again with the contrasts, everyone else wandering around neutral or with a smile while they deal with real-world issues and no one is even aware as he publicly crafts a plan to destroy them all. The back and forth also solidifies his ended friendship and how far he's gone. It's outstanding that it's all done in one episode too.
殺したければ殺せ。それには意味がある。
Not just for the story but for him as a character, his inability to put down his friend here.
あんた誰？っていうか、何その顔？
So unexpected all of a sudden.
お父さんなんだけど、僕が
別に。あいつがどこで何してようと興味ない。
What a truly interesting way by which to bring him into the main story from where the first season takes place. He was the kid of that dude. That's amazing.
先生も寝るんだな。
当たり前でしょ。何言ってんのあんた。
五条先生。
あ、来る。次俺な。おい。
Getting to see these three again was such a legit treat to my senses. That's going to do it for this first quarter video. The next 3 videos will cover 6 episodes apiece. Hit that subscribe button and the bell icon to not miss those. Again, a like and a comment would be great from everyone. Send this video to whoever you think may enjoy it, and to vote in everything I cover, you can do that on my Patreon, linked down below. Check it out, and if you really enjoyed yourself, a tip would be amazing and helps a lot. See you next time. Creator follower, Lifty, Nick Wyndham, Nightly Winter, Christopher Willis, Hinakami and Water, Marquez, Orkeeper, The Epicommander, Bird Without a Word, Brandon Creer, Burn 100B, Emmanuel Gonzalez, Aaron Winters, Your Edvinson, Kepan, Kevin Alston, Cumfreak, Kylie Welp, Magnus, Matthew Blanchett, Nathan Burr, Sataka Yari, Sean, Sebastian Ramirez, Wicked Faye, Ali 50, Brainless Ben, Dark Lord Bloody Soul, Hoved Lowe's Ritter, Isel Caldera, Jaffa6263, Keldnock, Kevin Nelter, Laxus, Lionel Schultz, Marvin, Nick Monaco, 9028, Oliver Smiley Reacts, Peter Milligan, Sentimento, Stan, Storm 970, The Element Taylor Wars, Tricky Nicky,